God, you have blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. Help us to use them wisely in the service of our town government. We ask this in thy holy name, amen. Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone here this evening. The first thing we have on the agenda is we have a presentation from Glenn Michaels, the representative for the Attorney General's office in Plattsburgh.
That's correct, yes. Thank you very much.
Anybody like move on now to the audience so we can see better? Is that what you?
I think you folks should be able to see fine from here, so if I'm not in anyone's way here, I will proceed. I'm an assistant attorney general, and I work for Andrew Cuomo. Formerly worked for Elliot Spitzer until he got into a little bit of, I make that a big bit of trouble. One of the things that I'm really excited about is a thing that the Attorney General has put together called Project Sunlight. Each of you here at the table has a brochure on Sunlight. One of the things that happened when Andrew Cuomo was running for Attorney General, like a lot of folks involved in politics, knowing that he wanted to get elected, he consulted with a number of people in academia and a lot of these professional political consultants and found out that they said there's all of this data on New York State, on all of the state legislators, on all of the local government. It's all publicly available, but you have to know where to look for it. It's in all of these different places. And Cuomo said, you know, if I'm elected, one of the things I'm going to do is ask the legislature, state legislature, to appoint some money so that we can pull all of this together in one place so that anybody, you, me, you know, the local bridge club, the local Rotary, whatever, can go on the internet and find out all in one place, you know, who are our elected officials, who is giving them money, what they're voting for, and where they're using their member items, and all sorts of other information. And so the legislature followed through on this, and in 2007 we put together a initial version of sunlightny.com. It's a website you can go to from your home computer, or if you don't have a home computer in any library, www.sunlightny.com. It's an incredible resource. It has on there, if you're not sure how state government works, and there are times that I'm not sure I know how it works, we have a lot of tutorials. Kids can use them in high school classes. If you want to know how a bill becomes law, how state government works, you just click on the video tutorials. And but mostly, it's an incredible resource if you want to find out what's who and what is going on in state government. Just as an example of this, I'm going to go to the browse section, and I'm actually online right now. You can follow bills as they go through the legislature. Any elected state officials, you can click on, just go there, type in a name or an office, you'll find it. Member items, I'm going to show you that in just a minute. In fact, let me go there right now, because someone had mentioned that a possible source of funding for member items might be one of these member items. These are discretionary funds that various state legislators are allocated. And I'm going to go on that, search for those. Let's see, am I on, whoops, I'm sorry, I'm on, let's see, member items. Member item, and we can see the various folks who received member items from Senator Betty Little. You can also, on this website, look at local government officials. I'm going to go to, and anyone can do this, go to, we have a map for any region. I'll click on Clinton County. And we'll find there, among others, our Town of Champlain Supervisor Larry Barkham, phone number, address here. if there's an official website that Mr. Barkham used, that would, he could have that on there.
That phone number's wrong.
We'll get that corrected. There's a place on this site where you can just contact us, and we'll make those changes. I see that we have County Legislator McManus here, and you can find out it. Maybe I hope we got that phone number right. Here.
Well, yes, that's the county number, not my number, but
Yeah,
yes, that's fine, yeah.
And it has, in addition, all of the information on campaign finance. For example, what I'm going to do is go to the campaign finance section, and just as an example. This is a little bit slower than I would like, because I'm using actually a cell phone connection to connect here. But I'm going to type in just a Barkham, and it will search through all of the campaign filing databases and find that, for example, there's a Larry Barkham who gave $100 to Janet Dupree for assembly, and a Larry Barkham who gave apparently $1,620 to Larry Barkham's campaign. This website,
Larry.
none of the information on here is, I should put it this way. All of the information on here was previously publicly available. It doesn't make, it doesn't unveil any secrets. But the idea is, before this, you would have to really do hours and hours of research to find out where this information was publicly available. Now you can do that just by following a few links. For example, if you have a project and you want to find out what your legislators have funded in the way of member items, you can go to that portion of the site, find out what they funded in the past, and perhaps write up your proposal in a way that reflects that legislator's priorities. We also have links to all of the not-for-profit organizations and their filings. Those are often play an important part in the town and local government. And you can also find information on all of the corporations that are resident in your area. There's just a huge amount of information here, and what we encourage folks is to log on to sunlightny.com and see if the information you want is here. If it isn't, we have a section of the website where we encourage you to contact us. As I say, this site was launched in 2007. We got a lot of feedback saying certain things were hard to use. So this spring we completely redid it. Added a whole new section on local government, and we're still updating it every day. For example, when I talked to, in Plattsburgh, Supervisor Bernie Bassett, I believe it was he who suggested that maybe once the 2010 census data is available, we can incorporate that. That's something we're going to look at. If you go online to look at Project Sunlight, you can use it for most any purpose you want. One of the things, we know a lot of people use it, but unlike a lot of websites, the state does not keep track of who is accessing this and what information you're looking for. In other words, you can look at Big Brother, but Big Brother is not going to be looking at you. So all of this is accessed anonymously. The idea behind this is not political, in the sense that you can use this if you have a political purpose and you want to look for dirt on somebody. Sure, you can do it that way. We hope it will be used so that people can understand how government is working, where the money is going, and use that to better participate in the process and to hold our elected officials accountable. And I've handed out some brochures, as I say, and also to those around the table, and I've left on the table over there.
Can you scroll down just a bit?
Oh, sure, please.
I want to see what the rest of those Barkhams are doing.
Oh, okay.
$40. Don't remember it.
One Larry Barkham, he's a big spender.
I've also left a sheet that looks like this. It has my number, my email address, my direct line phone number in Plattsburgh, and that of my legal assistant. Also the number for our office. As I tell folks, the Attorney General's office, you and I have already paid for it with our tax dollars. Use it. It's free. This is an incredible resource. I find I'm using it every day. I think, quite frankly, the Sunlight NY is one of the best things we've done in terms of being able to get information easily. And accordingly, one of the things I'm going around the state now and doing in this northeastern corner is talking to town and village boards like yourselves and just letting you know that this resource is available. And if you find anything, or if there's something you find that you need that's not on this website, let us know. We may or may not be able to get it up and easily available, but we'll try. Thanks, that's it.
Thank you. Interesting. Hopefully we can get the use out of the website now. We can always learn. We have a public hearing scheduled for 7:15. Julie, would you read that notice was in the date, please?
Please take notice that the town board of the town of Champlain will hold a public hearing on the adoption of proposed local law number 1 of 2009, increasing the maximum income for eligibility for persons 65 years of age or over for real property tax exemptions from $21,500 to $25,000. The full text of said proposed local law can be obtained from the town clerk at the town of Champlain office, 729 Route 9, Champlain, New York, 12919 during normal business hours. The public hearing will be held at the town meeting room, 729 Route 9, Champlain, New York, 12919 on July 14, 2009 at 7:15. Persons wishing to be heard on such proposed local law will be given an opportunity to speak. Regular meeting of the town board will be held at the same date and place as the public hearing and begins at 7 p.m. Such meeting is open to the public.
Thank you. Jane, do you have those copies? I asked you to copy these before the meeting.
For what now?
Exemptions from my hand to you.
I can get them.
You got, or just bring me my original copy. On the second sheet, the one that was, Jane just asked you, page 2. I went through all the exemptions of all the towns and villages in the county and school districts. Including our town, we're about in the middle of the game of, there's 20 towns, cities, and villages within the county. There's 10 lower and 9 or 10 higher than we are. We're presently at 21,500. 3 years ago, we reviewed this in 2006 and raised it from 20,500 to 21,500. And we brought to our attention a letter that came to us in May to please consider increasing the level, wage income level for assessed. We reduced 50% of the assessed value for those with limited incomes. I did review the village of Champlain is 24,000. The village of Russell's Point on the third page, it's 26,000 with a sliding scale that goes as high as 34,400. And the two closest to us. The town of Moores and Ellenburg are both higher than we are. Shazy is lower. Sorry to move the board here. If we would like to raise this, and if so, to what degree? Any thoughts from any of the council?
I feel we should at least go into same ballpark as to where our two villages are. That's my feeling on
I I reviewed them, on the second page, there's a check, a little dash on the left-hand column there. And those are the districts, when they did move last time, when they raised it approximately 10% or more. Okay? So, with that thinking, the village of Champlain is 24,000, the village of West Point is 26,000. The county is 26,000 also. And that's also on a sliding scale for those who got income over and above. Which means that they get less than 50% exemption, even if they have more than $26,000 income.
You need to ask the public if they have any comments.
Anyone in the public?
I got a question. I'm confused.
Yes.
Is there a law that you're looking at, or are you putting the figures in for the law now? I don't understand why we're having a hearing. Usually the law is ready to be accepted or denied when you have a hearing. I'm just confused.
Yeah, we do have a local law. There is a law right now, and the exemption is 21.5. And this law is to increase it to 25,000.
Okay, so that's what the law says.
Yes.
Okay, and that's what the proposed law is going to say.
Say,
Okay.
yes.
I'm confused that you
Yes.
seem to be debating it right now. That's all.
It's a public hearing to determine if we want to raise it and how much we want to raise it.
Well, if the proposed law says 25, wouldn't you have to?
Yes. If they
You'd have
pass
to
it, it
approve
has to
25, or
pass
else
25.
go back and do this all over again, wouldn't you?
Yes.
You can't say 26 tonight and
Right.
pass it.
No.
It's gonna be passed at 25,000.
Right.
Passed or rejected.
That'll bring us close, I heard.
We're in the middle.
Two villages. Anybody else? Any board member? Then I need a motion if we're going to increase it.
Do you make a motion on this, or you have to close it and then make a motion?
And you're gonna close the public hearing and
Okay. Then I need a motion to close the public hearing.
I make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, now we want to vote on that now? If so, I need a motion to increase it.
I'll make a motion to increase to 25,000.
I second that.
Thank you, Don. I'll ask for a roll call vote. Craig?
Yes.
John?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yes.
Richard?
Yes.
And yes for myself. Answer the question. Thank you all. I do want to go back to the public forum. Anybody wish to address the board? Harry?
Yeah, I just have a couple of items tonight. First of all, I just want to say congratulations to the town and specifically to Alan. We've gotten a lot of good reports on Hayford Road and, how well it looks. I guess the county is going to be doing some signage and so on out there for you, so a lot of people are very happy that they can apparently now go 30 miles an hour instead of 2 miles an hour. I'm not sure that's a good idea, but in any event, that's what they told me. And also congratulations to the town for the winning float. Notwithstanding the fact that I happened to be one of the judges, it was very well done and so on, so I thought it was good. The county's moving along on Point of Fair and Prospect, but I guess I talked to Al today, and I guess it's slow going with the wet weather and so on, so.
Well, we should be done Prospect tomorrow.
Okay. Well, he was just lamenting the fact that it's been one of those
Well,
years
it
which
rained.
we all know, I know, you can't get much done. I wanted to mention to you that the children out in this area that are attending pyramids, you probably saw it in the paper, have been taken care of, the ones the county is paying for, so we were able to make it a relatively smooth transition for that. I mentioned earlier, I just want to say it again, unfortunately, we did not get the bike path grant this year. It will be resubmitted. I received tremendous accolades from people at the state, though, the fact that we were able to get the town supervisors and the mayors on board and so on, and all the boards, it was fantastic. And I just think it was one of those years where not much was gonna happen at the state of New York. I wanted to comment quickly on, the last time I was here a couple months ago, there was a discussion relative to the solar power exemption. I did a little background research. I'm gonna leave with you a copy of the California statute, which I'm gonna pitch at the county level just to see if it has any legs to it. There are mechanisms in there which can specifically relate to assessment and so on, and you were talking about that a couple months ago at your meeting, so I'll leave that with you. The mosaic, it's 98% done, so you know maybe a lot of your grandchildren, children, whatever, worked on it. It'll be July 27th. They're installing it now. It's under a screen of secrecy, so people can't see it, but I have seen it, and it's quite impressive what the children have done. And it'll be there on the side of the wall at the county building. They're gonna cover it, there'll be a brochure, there's gonna be interpretive panels, it'll be lighted, it's gonna, hopefully, our objective again was to do something that was gonna be lasting, all right, and that hopefully will be there for the next 50 years. The biggest thing I wanted to talk to you about, as you may have read in the paper, we passed a resolution, and I want to just pass this out, you guys can put these around here, on the firefighters. Just have a knife and fork here. Maybe you read about it in the paper. It does impact you guys. The basic idea of the legislation was to, one, give some kind of relief, tax relief for firefighters who volunteered who were in for 5 years. And the best we could do as far as the state went was 10%. Now, for the county, that's not an awful lot of money. And what I'm hoping to do once the legislation passes in Albany is to then come to the town and the villages and possibly, like you did tonight, you have to hold a public hearing and so on, you'd have to pass this legislation. But the big key here is of course the school district. And but I think that if we work out where the towns pass it and the villages pass it and the counties passed it, that we may have some momentum there for them. And then that would be close to the 10% of the $30 a thousand, which is what all the tax rates add up to in the area. So it's been given numbers in the Assembly and the Senate, but as you know, the Senate has been immobile, and so I don't know whether it's going to make it through this session. If it doesn't, it'll be resubmitted next year, and you'll have to deal with that issue when it comes up. We also tried to get the exemption that they get a credit now of $200 for joining the fire department. We tried to encourage them to raise it to $1,000. And then there's one other piece of this puzzle. If you take a property tax exemption, then you can't get the $200. So, and there's been legislation unanimously passed for the last 2 years abolishing that, so the firemen and ambulance workers could piggyback the two and at least get both. And the governor's vetoed. So we're encouraging the governor to sign that legislation. So the whole idea is recruitment and retention for the firefighters, keep the guys in who we have, and also encourage new ones. I've gone to a couple of the banquets so far this year, and there are a few young people in fire departments, but not an awful lot. And you make that decision, you know, whether to stay or not when you get married, if you get in when you're real young and you start having a family and you say, I just can't devote the time to it. Well, if the exemption is somewhere, you know, $1,500 plus, you know, maybe they'll look at it again and say, well, at least I'm getting compensated for what, you know, I'm doing. The other piece of this is, of course, the retirement issue. Do they continue to keep that exemption when they retire? And you're going to have to, each town and village will have to deal with that issue. And do you grandfather people in who meet the requirement? Let's assume you say you have to be in the fire department for 20 years. Well, what about the people who are finishing, they've only been in 1 year under this system, but they have 20 years in? Do you grandfather them in and then give them the exemption? I'll just give you a rough figure. If every firefighter in the county decided to go with this plan, it would cost the county around $50,000. So which isn't a tremendous amount of money, but it's a significant amount of money. Now, we might be able to, through real property, determine how much it would cost each board up here based upon the firemen that you would be serving, so you'd have some idea of cost assessment before you voted on this, and I'll try and get that. I mean, we're a ways away from that, but I'll try and get that information for you. So, I don't know whether you have any questions on this, but we unanimously passed it at the last meeting, and I'm very pleased. In going out and meeting a lot of people over the last couple of years, that was one of the biggest things I heard from firemen, is that we had to do something. And other counties have done it, so this is not unique to Clinton County. 28 counties actually out of the 62 provide some kind of relief for their firefighters. So I don't know whether any of you have any questions on this as to how it works or anything, but there'll be more coming, but I wanted to get something to you so you know what's coming down the road. If it should pass this year, then obviously it could and should probably be part of your budget discussions in the fall. If it doesn't pass, then it would be a year in advance.
This is a big ticket item at the Association of Towns, and it has been for the past several years, that to try to get some compensation in there for the volunteer firefighters. So, like you said, it's statewide, it's not just...
Right, it's a problem statewide. And each county needs to apply specifically before anybody can do anything, so that's how we ended up getting the ball rolling.
And it's good to see that it's starting to come down to
Well,
local level.
when you tell people that, you know, we have a $30 a thousand tax rate, when you add them all up in this area, that's a relatively high tax rate. I mean, it's not, we're you know, we love living up here and it's great, but $30 a thousand is a lot, so. The only other item, and I really don't, you know, unless you have questions about it, you may have seen it in the paper, we're going to be passing a resolution to be put on the ballot for a term limit abolition and also staggering the terms of the county legislature so that it does seem a bit absurd to have all 10 people up at the same time every year. So it's very possible that the town of Champlain will draw a 2-year slot the first time and then, you know, then a 4-year slot after that. So each 2-year cycle, much like you do here at the town level, the entire board can't change in the same year. So there'll be 5 legislators up in a 2-year cycle and then 5 in the next cycle. So that'll be a separate item. And then the other item is being proposed, will be abolishing term limits at the county level. And I'm looking for feedback on that issue. Philosophically, I'm in favor of term limits, but I got to tell you that I think I see it as more indicative of something at the state and federal level, and the local level, and even this level here. Politics has not played a role in any vote I've ever taken in a year and a half at the county level. You wouldn't even know who the Democrats and Republicans were down there. I think it's just what I'd hoped it would be. And so, you know, I'm probably leaning towards voting yes, which would only allow the voters in the entire county to make that decision. But if you have any feedback or have heard things from people about the issue, either one, I do think it probably will pass, so it'll be up in November and you'll see it on the ballot and so on. But if you have any feedback, and not necessarily tonight, I'd be interested in hearing it. So.
What are the term limits currently?
Currently, it's 3 terms, so it's 12 years. But you can go over that if you're serving out part of a term. Jim Langley is a good example of that. He can end up being on the legislature for, I think, 15 years because he was appointed to fill out part of a term and so on. But I think most of us feel that, you know, it could be a self-imposed thing. There are a couple of people who are term limited right now, Mr. Trombley from Ellenburg and Mr. Defiant from Scholar Falls, both of whom I think probably would end up serving another term if they could. And so that I don't, and they're not driving this, but that's just the reality of it. So, and also you may have heard at the county level, one of our members is going in for a quadruple bypass. Went in this morning, and we wish him well. Tom Sears from Beacontown, you may have heard that. And he went in for a test, and they rushed him right to the hospital. So.
How is it going to be determined like, the town of Champlain's gonna get 2 years versus Beacon Town gets
That's a good
4.
question, Jane.
And I saw the
Initially,
article,
yeah.
I mean, is it a,
Initially, they had 5 legislators volunteer who did not want to commit beyond 2 more years. And it was determined that that's not a good way to do it. And so the other counties have done it, and what they do is draw numbers out of a hat. That's one way. So that, but the city of Plattsburgh is concerned, they have 3 legislators, they
that
don't
doesn't
all
really
want to
seem
be up.
fair, yeah.
That's right. So the other thing would be to flip a coin and go odd even, which would, for the city of Plattsburgh, would be 2 one time and 1 the other time. So for us, if the odd number, we're area 1, if the odd number was drawn, then whoever was running in 2.5 years would end up be running for a 2-year term instead of a 4-year term.
Was this a public referendum originally when it was instituted?
Yeah, that was instituted.
Yeah, that was, it was 95, I think, or
That's
96.
when Don Garrett was.
Yes,
But that was put to a public referendum?
yeah,
That
yeah,
was
they,
when, I think with the vote and so
Yeah.
forth, that it was determined that there would be a term limit of 12 years.
yeah.
And I'm all for the 12-year limit.
You are, okay, well,
I'm
that's good to
absolutely
know.
for it.
But I do think what's gonna happen is that all of us are gonna have an opportunity to go out and talk to people
Sure.
about the limit and so on. I think that, I think it probably will pass as an item just to allow the voters to make the decision. I know in some areas, for example, in Plattsburgh, they tried to abolish it and the people said no, they wanted to keep it. In New York City, they decided to abolish it, so it depends on, you know, what local issues are involved maybe and so on. But I think philosophically, I've always been in favor of term limits. On the other hand, I see them more at the state level and the federal level as being, because there's so much, with seniority, there's so many more privileges and so on, and at the local level, it's hard to get people to serve anyway. But in any event, you know, again, if you have feedback, I certainly would be interested.
So
in
let me
it.
understand this, if the town of Champlain gets the 2-year
Yes.
term, will you always be 2 years?
No, you'll
You
be
do
2,
2 years
there'll be
and then
5 of the 10 legislators will be 2 years.
And then
After
after
that, it'll be
four.
4, and that, yes, right.
It'll be staggered.
They'll be staggered.
Which is a good idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
that,
there's no
and
doubt
that,
about that.
I really hope that we can go out and get that one passed. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that that's one that's worthy, because in theory, you could have 7 or 8
All
legislators
new.
all new and decide they just don't wanna run, and really, it took me almost a year of
And you're still learning.
and I'm still learning, I still have a lot to learn, but I was just more concerned about the committees I was on, not the other committees. Now I'm starting to, you know, attend some of the meetings on the other committees and just to see how it's going, but, I mean, you end up with 4 or 5 committees, and it's tough. And you have to meet, and then you have to go through all the departments and so on, so it's a big job, and to have 7 or 8 inexperienced people in 1 year,
It's
you know,
not.
Mike Zerlo just said there's just no way that he wants to face that. And most other counties have a staggered limit, but it has to start somewhere. And the voluntary issue was probably, according to the county attorney, was not gonna make it. So I'm not sure exactly what we're gonna do, but we'll come up with
But
something.
term limits, to me, is a good
Okay.
way to go.
Well, anybody else, just give me a call. Yes, Sam?
Okay, on this highway fuel, do you have any prices, are there any prices that come out there the county's gonna give,
I can find out for you, I don't know.
okay?
Now, what specifically for
Well,
For
we
next
got a
year.
thing in the mail the other day, but the county got a contract on delivering diesel fuel and
Yeah.
gasoline, and-
Yeah.
but there was no prices involved.
Okay.
I had went to Al's meeting, one of them last year, but that was last year, no. I don't know if the prices have changed compared to what he presented us last year, or what.
Okay. Diesel, and do you also get regular gas or just diesel?
No, we just get that regular fuel and heating oil.
Okay. I'll find out.
There, you wanna make a, this is it, if you wanna make a copy of it on your way out.
What is it?
I think this is the,
It's the letter
I
we
think,
received from
Okay.
Al.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience?
Just a quick thing, I'm confused again. Harry, on
Seems to be a
the,
problem with you tonight, Calvin.
I confuse easily. On the, you said the $50,000 cost, but what you're really meaning is a redistribution of the tax thing. It's not gonna cost the county $50,000 if the firemen's get the exemption, they're just redistributing the, just like the town exemption for senior
Well, that-
citizens or everything
Well,
else.
it'll have to be spread out.
Yeah,
Yes.
it just, it's not gonna cost, it's gonna just redistribute the burden.
It will be.
Yeah.
It will be a redistribution. It'll just be a reduction in what we're pulling in now for those individuals and then spreading it out over everybody
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
I think it was .0 something on the tax rate. It wasn't,
Yeah,
it was
it's not gonna,
negligible. But I.
it's
but I
not gonna
do-
push the other people up much, but it'll help,
That's
it'll
right.
pull the
But I
other
do-
people
but
down a
I do
lot.
think that, each governing body may wanna know what that figure is before they vote. I think it's, so hopefully we'll be able to do that and get that figure out. Since we're able to do it on the county, I think we should be able to do it specifically for each township.
Real property can do that for us.
Yeah.
Yes. Once we know how many firefighters we have or whatever, In the case tonight of the senior citizens exemptions, they can pretty well tell us what that would cost us.
It's a small price to pay.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Very valuable members of the community when they come fight fires or delivery to the hospital and ambulance, in all hours of the day or night. Anybody else? If not, I need a motion to approve the minutes of June 9th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from June 9th.
Gentlemen, thank you all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be on an every other month basis.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
we'll see you in a couple months, but call me anytime.
Yep.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Yes.
Steve, second? Second. John? Any questions on the minutes of July 9th? All those in favor?
Abstain.
Opposed? Two
Abstain.
abstentions, 3 yeses. Thank you. Well, we just addressed somewhat, the next item on the agenda was the Clinton County Highway Department contract for diesel and fuel, unleaded gasoline and heating oil. We'll be looking into that. As far as I know, we've always got state contract prices, if I'm
Yep.
correct. We will look into that. We got a letter from BS&K, Von Schoening and King. We've gotten this before. It has to do with consolidation and dissolution and of governing bodies to merge things together. School districts, towns, villages, fire departments, whatever. That's for your information only. We have a letter from Bernie Carr pertaining to the pump station on New Balls Road. They were here on June 17th to look at it. It's a problem that we need to take care of. They're proposing a preliminary engineering report for the lump fee of $4,000. I did pull the board, I didn't get all of everybody, but I got past number 3, you guys says. And we did approve that over the phone so they could start that. We expect that report this week. Okay? The next thing is a letter from DEC. We forwarded this to Matt Cooper at Bernie and Carr Group pertaining to possible grants for wastewater improvement projects, which would hopefully include the New Balls Road pump station. We're not sure it will. We have until October to look into that deeper and any other type of funding that we can possibly even think of or find. Okay. We got a letter from the treasurer's office. We received a check for $183,639.17. This is the second quarter distribution of the sales tax in the county, which is always nice to get. We have a second quote. We got another quote a couple months ago for washing the outside of this building down, pressure washing it. We did not act on it at that time, we were looking for second quotes. I think I'd like to turn this over to the billing committee for a recommendation. It'd be John, Paul, and Richard to look into these two quotes, get back to us on that as early as possible. If you could do that, I'd appreciate it. Binghamton University has sent us I call it an extensive survey they wish to have done. I have no objections to it. It's going to be, did you read that over, Jane?
Yes, a little bit, but not,
Pretty extensive.
I know.
Is this something that the town board feels that we could benefit from by filling this out and sending it back or not?
Well, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't fill it out and whatnot. There's no harm in doing it. You know, maybe at the end of this week, we can get together and go through it and submit it.
And we will do that. Does any board member have any problem? It's extensive,
Yeah, it's involved.
okay? We will do it. Hopefully, it says 15 to 20 minutes, but
Yeah, right.
I don't believe it.
Looks good on paper.
We got a letter from the State Real Property Office. Just a copy of the letter that was sent to the county assessor's office about the residential assessment ratios, how they're formulated, and when they're due. It's done on a yearly basis. It's really not allowed to do with the town board. It's mostly to do with the assessor's office. The period ending June 30th. They take sales up till June 30th, to August 15th there, to formulate the new assessment. We are at 100% assessment. I have a letter of resignation from Martine Gagnon as our town assessor. Due changes in the real property office in Plattsburgh, she will no longer be able to continue with this position here, and she would like the opportunity to thank everyone for the kindness and helpfulness in the last 3 years. It's very enjoyable working at the town hall, made many friends of yours with your kind staff. I will miss coming to Champlain every Friday. I need a motion to approve her resignation.
With regret, I make a motion to approve her
Okay,
resignation.
Second that motion.
any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Well, we got a letter from the JCO, the annual golf tournament on August 7th. And the golf ball drop. You can buy tickets for $10 a piece. Those will drop from the air. The one that's closest to the hole wins $5,000.
I think, well, I don't know.
That's for your information only, of course. You have your work schedule for real property office here at this town offices. They'll be here every Friday, and,
Yes, that's changed. Mondays and Fridays now.
okay, Mondays, 6th, 10th, 17th, yep, both days, Mondays and Fridays. I believe the Mondays are more for field work, if I'm correct. They're in and out, but
They're
Fridays
in and
are-
out,
yeah,
right.
they'll be here all day.
Fridays are usually here in the office.
Got a letter from DEC pertaining to, this is mostly for farmers, landowners incentive program for grassland protection and management. There's a website you can go on to see if you qualify, and there is some in our township, they say. And any farmer who wishes to apply for that can get back to this office, and we'll give them the website address or the telephone number, and see if they do qualify. That's for your information. We had a recent discussion, I believe it's the last town board meeting, somebody asked about emergency shelters in the town of Champlain. We did get a response from Chris Trombley, the fire chief, and he's alerted us to the fact that American Legion the Knights of Columbus on Oak Street, Three Steeples Church on Route 11, and the New Baptist Church on Locust Street are temporary shelters. And the reasoning why they are and why, for instance, the firehouse is used for a command center, and it's not exactly suitable for a shelter, but there's other facilities on it. That was just for information. We thank Chris for that. Got a letter from Bruce West pertaining to Watson Central Committee is planning a community day on August 8th. It'll be held in the village of Champlain in the River Street Park, across from the Samuel D. Champlain History Center. With live entertainment, pictures, canoeing, kayaking on the Shazy River, and much more. It's from 11 till 3. Refreshments will be offered. I'm asking any of you, as board members, who would volunteer to man the grill during this time. This is a great opportunity to meet friends and share stories. Let me know if you're interested in volunteering. This is from Bruce West. I will be there, and I assume that most of my councilmen, I believe,
I'll volunteer.
be there. John said he would be if he's in town. Steve, I expect you,
We're part of the committee.
you're part of it there.
Yeah.
Wayne, don't let you get away.
I'd like to add something here that I'm responsible for running a canoe and kayak race, and if anybody's interested in being involved with that, it's going to be $10 per person. You're going to get one of our nice t-shirts for registering, and if you just want to call my home number and give your name and number, I'll get back to you to register you, and we're going to have a website registration as well that I'll be announcing through a press release shortly. I hope to do an article in the North Countryman. My number is 298-3332. Jane, it's so nice to have you here, you know that?
Keep you on
Yes,
top of things.
yes.
Where are they racing from?
It's gonna be a 2-mile race, starting from the boat launch where the events are gonna take place in the village of Champlain. And we're gonna go down a mile, around a buoy or a boat, and then turn around and come back. We've got some sponsors so far. Gaines Marina in Rouse's Point is gonna donate a rental of a kayak and a couple other places. So anybody else that is interested in possibly sponsoring that event, we're looking for extra prizes or gift certificates for the winners. Just to say it one more time, we've got our shirts for sale, $20 for the polo shirts, $10 for the t-shirts. And if you're interested in the canoeing and kayaking, please contact me at 298-3332. That's my commercial. Thank you for listening.
And to expand on that
Yes, please.
a little bit, contrary to what I'm gonna say, you won't like it, but thanks to Jane and Bruce West, we had a most awesome float. We've been in 5 parades. We've placed in every parade, and especially in Rogers Point, we took the overall best float. Grand champion, I guess, it's all labeled on there, was really outstanding, so. But every one of the parades that we've been in was really outstanding.
Yes.
We
Thanks,
certainly
Dan.
And
have,
in St. Mary's too.
Yep.
St. Mary's was our first one.
Yeah, we did, but we
I was
placed
a judge
it.
on that one.
And we certainly have to thank the Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts that
Right.
participated as the
Absolutely.
Native Americans, and certainly Sue and Tim Pelkey, who helped organize getting
Followed
these
every
guys
parade.
and gals there.
Yeah.
No, we had a good time. It was hard work and whatnot, but as you can see, our little display
The
is
trophy table speaks for itself.
certainly, you know, it's been a good time, and we had a lot of fun doing it, and
We had a great person representing Samuel D. Champlain.
yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
He did a tremendous job. We're proud of the float. We know there was a lot of work went
Can
into
you
that.
give us that salute there?
Which one?
This one.
This one or that one? But it is, but it's very invigorating to be part of it, especially when you're in Rouse's Point and
Plattsburgh was
Plattsburgh
wonderful too.
was just, when you see wall-to-wall people, that really.
And you said you had a lot of nice comments from
Yeah.
people on the, you know, the parade
Oh, absolutely.
trail that, you know,
Yes,
recognized the.
It all came together, so to speak, with a lot of
It
hard
did,
work from a
yeah.
lot of different
No, we had-
individuals.
had a
You
good
always
time.
try not to forget anybody when you thank people.
And you wouldn't have been able to do it without Alan receiving.
Oh, absolutely.
We
Chauffeur.
brought a chapeau a couple times, but that's okay.
We also need to thank Bruce West and Peter Racine for putting up the flags, and for Steve coordinating some of that, I understand. And town looks good. I see a,
We've had a
Speak
lot,
up, there was a
I
little
haven't
issue.
shared that with you, but there's been a lot of calls coming in and saying how nice it is to see the town decorated with the flags. He said, especially around the 4th of July.
Yeah.
And I, for the busyness of the office, I never expressed that, nor did I say who put them up or whatnot, but they really appreciate the festivity of the roadsides, and, it just looks kind of spiffy,
it looks impressive.
yeah.
And,
And then Alan and his crew put up the quad flags.
oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, it's
from-
just a joint effort, and we're having a good time doing it, and I think people appreciate it.
And with that, I just had Chris Trombley look it up, and believe it or not, it's been a year, just about to the day, that we've been diligently working with the quad committee, meetings continuously.
And certainly Slim Paquette should get tremendous
Oh,
amount of
absolutely, for his support.
recognition for, being our representative in this area and struggling, effortlessly, with the big cities and the big money elsewhere, and she certainly should be recognized, and at the end of this trail, we will,
Yeah, the fruits of all our work will be
absolutely.
happening right now.
And we're all
within the
still
next-
smiling.
Yeah.
Well, we do thank everyone. There's a lot of hard work on everybody's part, from the planning to the implementing of the whole.
Yeah, and with that, and with Alan's busy schedule of doing
I know.
everything besides, the pressure he's been under, and he's easily come through with everything. I mean, to do all these things, it's just, just taking care of his roads and the paving, and now besides doing all the stuff in the quad has just been, and even the little side things that people don't even see that he's done, it just,
The
He knows what
background
I mean.
makes it.
thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
We need to appoint an assessor, and it's been recommended to us that the person that's been working in this office, Tim Serpinski, I'm correct with that pronunciation, has been recommended to us. He's been working with the property office here for the past 2 or 3 years. He's done a fine job. He's to take over for Martine Gagnon. I'd like a motion, if we could, to appoint Tim. I think everybody here probably knows him. Does a fine job.
I make a motion that we appoint Tim Supinski to backfill Martine's position as the town assessor.
Thank you. Second. I'll second. Any questions on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. We've had a request to appoint a bailiff for the court at the rate of $10 an hour as needed. Whenever they think there's a need for one, something we've not done or haven't had. Some towns do have them. So these are the board here.
Make a motion to approve bailiff at $10 an hour as needed.
I'll second that motion.
Any questions? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Alan, Superintendent Highways report. Roads look good,
I should be done paving Prospect tomorrow, if everything goes good.
both coats.
Yep. Warner Fair is done. I don't know, everything should be going on schedule if it don't rain tomorrow, everything should be done there. It'll be just to put the shoulders on, that'll go for a couple weeks before I get done, because we gotta help Beekman Town, Nellenberg is helping us now, so we gotta kinda return the favors,
That's not a problem.
so. Whatever's on hold, Warner Fair, you just tell the people it'll be a couple weeks before I get down there.
That ditch looks really good on the golf course. It looks really good. What a difference. I can still remember a car being down in there,
Oh,
and you couldn't even see it.
Me?
No, that was prior. No, it was on its side, and you couldn't even see the car down in there. That was very dangerous.
I've got a couple.
Science critic.
I did go review Point Fair Road in Lakeland last Friday night. It looked great to me, and I've got a couple people who spoke to me. They appreciate it.
I got a
Good
couple
job,
little
Will.
faults or all.
Yeah, but that's,
So they look good. I will be reviewing Prospect as soon as I get over there, as soon as it's done. I didn't know if you closed the road off today or not. But
Yeah, I did.
Close it
We
off.
had to. The traffic there this morning was gonna be there.
Okay. Anything else on the highway?
No, unless you guys have any questions.
do you, well, okay, go ahead.
We did get a, I have it here somewhere, a thing for highway superintendents in Lake Placid, September. Did you get that, Al?
Yeah, I.
Is that something you're interested in going to?
Well, I haven't been in the last 4 or 5 years.
Well,
Every year it seems that we're squeezing sand, I can't get away, I hate to promise to go for that if I can't make it.
Well, don't you look that over?
Yeah.
We'll get back to you next month on that. I think September, August, we'll still have time to sign you up for September if you wanna go. It's towards the end of September, I think 22nd on. If it's something you're interested in going to, we'd be more than glad to support that, I believe, okay? The building committee, I know nothing right now, all the
We got a thing in the building,
Yes,
I got all the tin for the ceiling and all the lights. If we're gonna plan on putting in a new furnace in that part of the building, to put a ceiling with all that copper tubing and all that piping up there, it's almost senseless. It's we either gonna have to do one or the other. So, I already asked one guy for a furnace to give us a quote, and when you're gonna have to put it up for bids naturally, but, you know, to see where we stand for money, then during the budget time, see how we can do that, work it out with him.
Yep.
You know, I just don't wanna have a furnace put in the 1st of January.
No.
You know what I mean? If you can work a deal out, put the furnace in, you know, like in October, and work it out with him to get it paid in January or whatever. Then we can work and get that ceiling, that stuff's gotta come down. I hate to take that down, turn it around, put it all back up.
And
I got all the material, and I got the manpower, it's just that, it's senseless to drill holes through new tin
And we still are considering the infrared
and.
heating it.
Yeah. That's the only thing, is they get along, you know, one day you stop in, we'll see, you know,
Okay,
see what we can do.
okay, we need a ballpark figure when we do our budget this fall.
Yeah.
The budget will be starting in another 6, 8 weeks, we'll be working on it
Yeah,
a couple months.
get the bids in, and go from there.
I know nothing on the grants committee if,
Just the WQIP,
pardon?
just the water, the
Yeah.
WQIP.
If, anyway, we can, any kind of grants, we need to look at them real close. I know nothing on the Board of Assessment Review or the Highway Committee, other than what we've reported already. The water
That
source.
problem today in the highway. That's you with there. Those branches,
On the Carnegie Road?
yeah, I'll take care of that tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay,
It's only if you happen to meet somebody, you know.
Yeah. That must have come down with the rain and the wind, that must have, that branch
Yeah.
must have come down.
the landfill committee, the only thing I can say, I believe the landfill's all been,
It's all moved.
all mowed down, looked good from the other day when I seen it. I know of no testing, although I do believe there is some this fall.
Usually it's September, October, they'll
Yes.
come in to retest those wells.
That's something that they do for us, and they gladly send us a bill to do it.
No fence down in there.
Nope.
Julie, town clerk's report, do you have anything?
The only thing I have is, the town of Champlain will be holding their town-wide yard sale on August 15th. Anybody that wants to participate, they can contact myself or Jane to get on the maps.
You got me, what are we gonna do this year?
We're gonna get together and see.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I have.
Okay, thank you. You got your post audit bills to review, your cash receipts. I need a motion to approve the monthly bills.
Make a motion to approve the monthly bills.
And I went through them today.
yes,
Second.
Any questions on the monthly bills?
no.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Does anybody else have, I have a reason for a short executive session.
I just want to mention one more time here that the date of this get-together is August 8th. And we mentioned everything that's going on, but just to remind everybody, and you also should be receiving a postcard in the mail reminding you of that date. When we had the nice affair down at Point Affair, I had a lot of people approach me and say they didn't really know about it, so we're hoping to get the word out, and with Calvin's help and anybody else's help, we can spread the word that it's gonna be a real nice event.
We're putting postcards together
August
today.
2nd for the religious day,
Right.
which is a French mass at St. Mary's. Dick, you wanna,
On August 2nd, there's going to be a religious mass at 10:30 at St. Mary's Church in the village of Champlain. In French, there's going to be a high mass with a very impressive program that's going to be
rededication?
rededication of the Samuel D. Champlain Monument immediately outside. And then there's also going to be the Louis Camille LaFontaine Monument is going to be rededicated, and these have all been redone or whatever. They stand out very, very nicely. And as it is right now, we're hearing that, especially the Samuel D. Champlain Monument right at the Catholic Church, the Father was telling us that there's as many as 50 to 100 people a week that are coming, as busloads that'll come in and look. So the Samuel D. Champlain corridor here is being visited by people from all over the place. Also, we encourage the people to attend both of these events. It's only going to be once in a lifetime. So be your own judge.
Don't miss out.
No. So that's all I have.
Anybody else have anything? I need a short executive session, to discuss personnel issue.
I make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss personnel.
I second it.
Any, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Alan, Mickey, would you stay a second too?
I have to open my mouth, and now I'm going to open my mouth. Thank you to Patrick for doing such a great job conducting this. Traditionally, when